Hey, I'm Matt with Let's Talk Music, and I'm here with U.D.O. Dirkschneider. How you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. A lot of interviews are going on, so here we go. Busy.
Hey, man, I appreciate you being on. You're a iconic legend. I mean, I remember watching you back in the day with Accept.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's awesome. So speaking of Accept, I mean, we'll just go hit that real quick. You was with them until '87, and then again in the '90s. And I seen that you just enlisted their bass player, Peter Baltz, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah, he's now in U.D.O. A new
nice.
member. Yeah, very good. Everything. I'm happy. And yeah, it was not planned, but there was some problems with our old bass player, Thielen. So he collapsed on the second show on the Game Over tour in Munich. So, and then we done, yeah, that was the thing. We doesn't want to stop the Game Over tour, after Corona, that pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I did already some stuff with Peter before that. And then I said, okay, I think the guy who can do everything very quick can be Peter. So, and then I said, okay, let's call Peter. And then he can only say yes or no. And then he
Right.
said, and then I explained everything, and then he said, yes, no problem, I'm coming. And then it was normally planned that he is helping us out until Thielen is recovered.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on the middle of a tour, we get an email from Thielen. He doesn't want to be in the band anymore. Nobody knows why. I mean, I never get any answer from him or something. Then he was asking, hey, what's happened, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Okay. And then, of course, there was in Brazil, we were sitting together and said, okay, now we have to look for a new bass player. And then Peter came up. I was, in a way, I can say, I was a little bit surprised. And then Peter said, oh, I would love to join the band. That's so much fun here. That's everything so far. Very good and blah, blah, blah. Here we go. And the new and the old bass player.
Awesome. And also your son, is it Sven? Plays drums for you. How long's he been playing drums for you?
Oh no, already 8 years. I mean, he came in 2015, yeah. And yeah, I mean it's very nice to work with him. I mean, now he's getting better and better all the time on the drums.
Mm-hmm.
He's I work with him now together since the last two albums, also on the lyrics. I work with him on the lines of the vocal lines, and that's good also for me. I mean, he's 30 years old nearly, but it's a different generation. They're coming up with different ideas, and then they said, "Oh, Daddy, maybe you can try this and this and this." Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm open-minded. I'm always say, yeah, let's try it, and it's fine. I mean, you feel more younger. I cannot really explain this. It's really like I'm really like I'm always like an open-minded guy. I never say, oh no, I don't want to do that and this and this and this. I was like first I listen to that, I try everything, and the most of the time it works. So yeah, also now with these two guitar players what I have. I mean, this is the perfect duo. I mean, they're working together. And also a good thing in this band is there is no ego.
Yeah.
No, it's like everybody said, uh-huh, okay, yeah, maybe also the two guitar players, they said, maybe I mean, you can do the change the solo here, or maybe you can do it like this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is really, what can I say? I mean, it's a lot of fun to work with this guy. Then now with Peter, okay, he was not involved in songwriting on this album, but he when he was recording the bass for this album, for the Touchdown album,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives the whole thing again another push. I
Right.
mean, he has his own style to play the bass, and what can I say? At the moment, I'm really happy. Looking forward now to go on tour with the Touchdown album.
So I mean, you've been in the game for quite some time, and I mean, music continuously changes. How have you been with working with the changes, or do you just stick to your old school metal style?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, that was in the 90s when Nirvana came up and all this grunge music, you know. And a lot of bands was also like, yeah, no, we have to change. We go like a little bit more like this and this. And I never did this. I was always saying for this kind of music, but I always did. And also now with Touchdown, you know, I mean, it's like the basic is still the same,
Hmm.
but on top, I think there are a lot of modern arrangements. You know, it's like different than to the Game Over album, and that also shows me there's a lot of more things to do. You know what we can do. I mean, also you know. Uh, I know already the next album when Peter is also involved in songwriting. That will be very interesting, you know. But I mean, what I always try to do is don't copy myself with the last album, you know. I always like it's always a little bit different. The basic the same, but on top, sometimes more melodic, sometimes more aggressive. It depends. You're always also in a different mood if you start working on a new album, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, so speaking of the album, I listened to a few of the singles, "Forever Free," "Touchdown," "Fight for the Right," and yeah, man, I dig it. It's got a really good, I want to say, like a anthemic song or sound to it,
Hmm.
and like honestly, I mean, really, just I dug it. I really think you guys hit it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, I mean that I think so far. I did already tons of interviews, you know, and also we have a tons of reviews, and it's everybody said, "Wow, what you did with this album, you know, this is something we didn't expect."
Right.
So, I mean, that means something we did something right.
So, and the album just released a few days ago on August 25th,
Yes,
correct?
yes, and
So,
yeah,
so since
everything so
then, you've
far.
been getting a really good response.
Oh yeah, I mean a really good response. I mean, this is like something what I said before. It's at the moment it's really like whoop, you know, but it's good, you know, after all these years to say that you hear, okay, this we didn't expect something like this. And yeah, so here we go.
Awesome. So the oh you guys just did a tour, and you well, you're still on one actually. I seen that you started in like May and you're on a break right now till September 16th.
Yes, we are already we have to do some more festivals until the end of October.
Right.
So and yeah, and then in between we have to rehearse for the upcoming tour in the United States and Canada. So we start touring. What is that? We fly over on the 1st of November. I think on the 3rd of November we start the tour in the United States and then Canada, and it goes until the middle of December. So, and I mean, it's also interesting. We will see how the people react. You know, now we're coming over as U.D.O and not as Dirkschneider with all except hit parade, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, we will see, but I have a good feeling about this. And yeah, we will see what's coming up. And then here we go.
Well, I know for a fact that we love our metal over this way, so I'm pretty sure you'll get a good response, especially just like I said, being, having the background in music that you have. I mean, it's not very often that I talk to people that have, were rocking in the 80s and stuff, but it's more modern
Yeah.
guys, the younger guys. So
Yes.
it's a pleasure, man, because that's when I grew up.
Yeah. I mean, I do this now, let's say in a professional way, nearly 40 years, but already like as a band, okay, like the first accept stuff, it's like nearly 50 years, you know, it's like a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think that maybe I did something right. Otherwise, I'm not here now talking to you, you know, after all these years. So I mean, yeah, I'm still having fun to do it, you know, working on new albums, go on tour, have a nice band around me, nice people. What else you want? I'm healthy, my voice is working, so everything fine.
Yeah, can't ask for more. So you just signed with Atomic Fire Records,
Yes.
and I know um the record business has been quite crazy over the years.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how do you feel working with them? Are they treating you good?
Yeah, I mean, I was together with AFM for 14, 15 years, So then there came up a French investor. He was buying AFM, he was buying Nuclear Blast, he was buying nearly every record company in Germany and Austria, whatever. So, and then these people, they only want to do everything like digital, not more physical stuff, that you can watch book pictures and lyrics and all that stuff.
Right.
And that was the point, to change, I mean, we are still good friends with AFM. My whole back catalog is on AFM, and but then Atomic Fire came up, and on Atomic Fire, they're all the old people from Nuclear Blast.
Oh,
But
okay.
they know how metal works, and they said, okay, we not want to do only we don't want to do only digital. We want to do physical stuff,
Hmm.
So, and I mean, the first thing what I did with them was like my way, my cover album, what I did, and they pushed me on number 4 in Germany on the charts, on the album charts,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like, whoops, they did a really good job. And so far now with the new album, with the first real studio album for U.D.O, I mean, they did an amazing job, I mean, they know exactly how to do it. And yeah, so I'm happy with them. And sometimes to have to change or go to something different in this business.
Hmm.
So, but I mean, anyway, uh, the whole business with record companies, I mean, especially for new bands, younger bands, it's not like it was in the 80s,
Right.
Yeah, they don't give any money for supporting or whatever, it's really, really heavy for new bands. I
Hmm.
mean, if some people they ask me what kind of advice you can give to young bands, then I always say I think the only chance what you have is you need a concept. Not only music, but you need a concept like Sabaton, Powerwolf, or what we have here in Europe. And then you stick out. You have to do something special.
Right.
Only with music, yeah, it's not so easy. But for me, for me, I mean, I think I'm lucky. I have everything what I need. Everything, yeah, we can make a touring worldwide. Okay, Russia not, and Ukraine not at the moment,
Hmm.
but the rest of the world is open for us, and that will be definitely be touched on a long, long tour. I know that already.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just touching back on the record business, I remember, back when I was a kid watching MTV and thinking, man, that would just be so awesome. And then you don't really think of it as, you know, it's you got the music side where, you have to have the talent to do it, to play the instruments, to write the music, to, sing. And then you got the business side. And I know both sides have been kind of a killer for quite a few bands over the years. I mean, the business side, you got people trying to take advantage of you, and there's guys that have went bankrupt over it. And
Hmm.
like you said, with no egos, but back in the 80s and 90s, there was nothing but egos. I mean, look at how many great bands split up because of somebody's ego.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a thing, I mean, I think the best thing what you can have in a band, no egos.
Right.
Then I think then the band is working. But if you have somebody in a band who has a big ego and know everything and blah 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 blah, I know somebody, but it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that. I've, and I just started doing this a couple years ago. Doing interviews with musicians, but I've always been into music, and I mean, that was one of my things. Is I watched like VH1 behind the music, and you would hear these guys that are, getting in fights. I remember Danny Lane coming out on stage one time from Warrant, and I want to say it was on an award show, the Grammys or something. He had a black eye, got in a fight with a bandmate, and it just, I
Yeah,
I get that it can be stressful, and I mean it is a profession, but I love to hear the people like yourself that say, I've been in the game this long and I'm still having a good time. I'm still doing what I love. That's amazing to hear.
yeah. I mean, it's a very how can I say this? I mean, okay, it was also a hard work all over the years, but now I'm in a situation I don't have to make or give demo stuff to record companies or what. They know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm free in this. I can do whatever what I want. I mean, okay, it has to be good, of course, but also, I mean, I don't have anything. Some nobody from the record company can say to me, okay, you have to do like this or this or this. Forget this. I mean, this is over. I mean, and for me, it's like the most important thing for me is like that I still have fun to do it. And
Yeah.
that's a very important thing. So everything at the moment for me is perfect. Yeah, what can I say? Nothing else. I'm fine.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen some of your like concerts on YouTube, and you guys, I mean, you go out there and you give 100%, and the crowd loves it. And I mean, I,
Yeah,
I feel like for me, that would be one of the best feelings in the world is, what I'm doing, what I'm, on stage performing, and the crowd is so into it, and you both feed off of each other. You're feeding off of the energy of the crowd, they're feeding off the energy of the band. And I mean, it's, I think, one of the only things in the world, that can act like that. People feed off of each other in that way.
that's the best thing what you can have. I mean, also, I think we are a band. We can only come up, just put the drums on stage without any pyros or whatever. Really, I mean, I think I'm not arrogant, but we can do that without all that shit.
Hmm.
We don't need all these things around us. It's like I think the whole band has enough power, to do this and get the people. And also that what you said, it's like the people give us a good reaction. We give also something to the people, and that comes together in once. And that's the best thing what you can have.
Yeah. So wanted to ask you, all these years, man, I mean, the way you sing, how do you take care of your voice? How have you kept your voice in shape?
Yeah, I mean, I do nothing. Really.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the only thing I did was 20 years ago, I stopped smoking. I was smoking 3 packs a day. That was a little bit too much. And I never warm up before the show.
Hmm.
I go just on stage and that's it. I mean, I think I'm very, very lucky with my voice. I mean, I never cancel any shows about that I couldn't sing or whatever.
Right.
That I mean, yeah, I'm really, really lucky. But I go over to a doctor and check everything, and he always said, no problems, no problems. I mean, a lot of colleagues in the business now, like say the older singers, uh, I know that they have some problems. I
Right.
mean, oh, they can do only 2 shows in a row, then we need a day off, or maybe 2 days off, maybe 3 more shows, and then a day off, day off. Yeah, and I know, but for me, I mean, I'm really, really lucky.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a thing over the years with especially the new metal, the guys they're really pushing their voices, and they're, doing the growls and the screams and stuff. And I know quite a few of them, like, M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, and Ollie from Bring Me the Horizon, have both, blown
Mm.
their voices out and had to have surgery, and really can't sing the way that they, first started. So people, and this is where I kind of feel like people suck, is they're like, well, man, you made all this great music singing like this, and now you're singing like that, and we don't like it too much, and blah blah blah. Well, he's human, and he's, it's no different than, let's say you're a football player and you break,
Yeah,
it's no different than that. You just blew out your main source of income, and
yeah,
I feel like people nowadays just, their attention span is small and they don't really, I think,
yeah,
understand that.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's like I found my own technique, how to do it. And it's it's also a funny example, on touchdown. I mean, I'm still working also with Stefan Kaufmann, Okay, he was also a guitar player in U.D.O, but he has his own studio now and he's working with video stuff, but he's always doing my vocals. I
Hmm.
mean, of course, he know exactly what is my range, blah blah blah. And when we was recording my vocals for Touchdown, he said to me, Udo, your voice is a miracle. I mean, you can sing higher than in 81 and also now lower stuff. It's
Right.
like he said, this voice is a miracle. He said he was like, I mean, of course, that's good for you, but he said, unbelievable. It's also sometimes for me also it's like, I mean, it's so easy to do all this stuff in the studio. I mean, I'm not like really, after one song, like, oh no, I mean, sometimes I do 3 songs a day. Easy going. And yeah, I mean, what I say, thank you very much. I'm very lucky.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, especially after all these years. I mean, um, just wanted to ask you one more question. When you guys are out on tour, do you ever play any old accept songs? Does anybody want you to play any old accept songs like Balls to the Wall or anything?
Let's say in this way. I mean, we have 2 things going on. U.D.O, that is the most important thing.
Right.
And then we still doing Dirkschneider. That heißt, if you are coming as Dirkschneider, then you hear only accept songs.
Okay.
And if you come as U.D.O, then you don't hear any accept song.
Right.
And that's a good thing. I mean, but with Dirkschneider, I think at the moment we do this only on festivals. So some promoters come and can you come on under Dirkschneider? But yeah, no problem, we can do that. Of course, now with Peter is 50% of it staying is on stage, and maybe I would say for the United States. I mean, one song I think on the tour we have to play balls.
Yes.
Already the promoters was asking, oh, we heard Udo said he never played any accept songs with U.D.O. And then I think balls will be on the set list, definitely in America. I mean, without balls in America, I think then the people maybe not so happy.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, that was the first one that I ever heard. Like I said, I remember that video. That man,
Yeah.
it's I was what, 11 years old, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but hey, man, I mean that tells you a little something there about your staying power. Because I mean, I'm 11 years old when I hear, Balls to the Wall, and then here we are. I'm 47, and was absolutely flabbergasted to talk to you. Because I mean, I followed you for years, and I loved the music back then. I love the music now,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about, dude. I mean, your talent and your music has captivated somebody that over what, 30 years. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean that is also interesting to see for me. I mean, for example, Ball to the Wall is now become 40 years old.
yeah.
And still, if we play this song, it's like, I mean, in a way, sometimes you have 3 generations in the audience. I mean, and then young people, they sing the whole song. It's like, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, this song is, I don't know, it's like Smoke on the Water of Deep Purple, or
Right.
something like that. You have to, if you definitely with Dirk Nutter, you play this, and I mean, I know for America, I think definitely we have to play this song. This is
Right.
like in America, the song.
Yep. All right, Udo. Well, I appreciate your time. I know you've got
Yeah.
a lot of interviews to do today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not finished.
Yeah, I got to pick my time out of the time slot, so I know there was quite a few of them. Best of luck to you guys out on tour. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Man, when you guys come to the United States, if you're anywhere near me, I'm gonna definitely come out and see you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All
Take
right,
care. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
bye.